But no one does stealth.
Keep it together, dancer!
Like an elf. Disney presents its first animated television special made exclusively for ABC.
I'm alive!
Oh, frostbite.
Trap and Landing.
How are we gonna make it through all this snow? Laughing all the way, my friend. Laughing all the way.
Coming soon to ABC.
Merry Christmas, everyone! I really love working on these Christmas studios, and this time around I thought I'd go ahead and talk about something that I grew up watching, that being the Prep and Landing series. These are a series of Christmas specials, CG animated Christmas specials from Walt Disney Animation, and they aired on ABC. While they were originally conceived by Chris Williams, every installment I'll be talking about was directed by Kevin Dieters and Stevie Warner Skelton, who I always want to say Skeleton whenever I say their name. I grew up watching these specials with my sisters as a kid, and I would still technically watch them every year because we always go like, yeah, let's just throw it on, just for fun. And while I don't love this series, I do think it's pretty charming, and I want to talk about it since I haven't heard a lot of people talking about it. I don't even know if there's a lot of people who actually know about this series. Like, my sister was telling me how she was talking to her friends at school about this series, and they were all like, Prep and Landing, what's that? And I'm like, bro, these people gotta get cultured, so we're talking about Prep and Landing because it'd be fun. So yeah, let's go ahead and start with the first installment. I don't have any Prep and Landing merch at all, not a DVD, no toys, anything like that. I think some were made, but I just don't have any, so for the eye catches, just expect this, whatever this like dollar store looking elf that I have in my hand right here. I hate you. Prep and Landing. This first Christmas special premiered in 2009 on ABC, and it's about how the elves get the houses ready for Santa's big visit on Christmas Eve, and they do it spy style. Wait, no, that's not cool. I should do it like spy style. Yeah, that's cool. Spy style. Main character Wayne is part of this group called Prep and Landing, a series of elves who go into the houses and do a lot of flips and stuff, and like sneak around to get the houses ready for Christmas Eve, for Santa's big visit. And he's been doing it for a long time, and he's like really tired of it. So he decides next year he wants to go ahead and do something different. He wants to be promoted to like the leader of the naughty list or something like that. He's in charge of that. Not the leader. That doesn't make any sense. He's just in charge of it. That makes sense. That's better. And unfortunately, he does not get that promotion. He's still stuck in Prep and Landing, and now he has to work with this new guy, Lanny, after his old partner got promoted to work on the naughty list, which is the job he wanted. So, sucks for him. So yeah, he and Lanny go to a house, get it ready for Christmas, for Santa's visit. But after some fooling around, Lanny's still trying to figure out everything, and Wayne just kind of being tired of it and just kind of messing around. They accidentally wake up some kid named, actually I don't remember his name. Like we'll just say it's like Timmy or whatever. Oh wait, let me check my notes. Oh, his name was Timmy actually. Oh, okay, I guess I will just call him Timmy. It's been a while since I've done that gag, am I right, guys? So after, putting Timmy back to sleep and then seeing his excitement for Christmas, Wayne rediscovers his, love for the job and realizes that, Prep and Landing is a cool job, actually. But unfortunately, there's a snowstorm, so Santa can't come visit, but they decide to get the house ready anyway and try to convince Santa, no, you gotta help this kid. You gotta, not help, he's not in danger. You gotta give this kid his present. He needs a good Christmas, and so they're able to show him the way, even though there's a snowstorm, and they save Christmas for Timmy. And because of that, Santa goes like, Wayne, I think you're really good. How would you like to work on the nice list? And he's all like, nah, I'm gonna stick with Prep and Landing. And that is the story. And, overall, I'd say it's pretty cute, honestly. I like a lot of the stuff in here. I like the concept of, the elves being essentially, spies, or, these, these people who, treat Christmas very seriously with all this, gear and everything. It reminds me a lot of what would be done with Arthur Christmas a few years later, even though Arthur Christmas did perfect the whole spy version of elves later on, because Arthur Christmas is just goated like that. But, here, it's done pretty well. I quite like it. I like stories that treat Santa Claus like a very serious thing, and, this is one of them. I like some of the characters. I think Wayne is a pretty good protagonist. Lanny is, pretty good, I guess. He works well with Wayne. And I especially really like McGee and Thrasher. They're great. McGee is this elf who is in charge of a lot of things, right? She tries to keep things running with the business of Christmas and all that stuff. And she talks really fast, and she's voiced by Sarah Chalk. And there's also Thrasher, this elf. Not this elf. He's a reindeer. What am I talking about? He's this reindeer who helps the Prep and Landing elves by basically Lanny, flying them to where they need to go. And you know, he's really cool. He's like this big reindeer with sunglasses, and he's kind of scary, and he's also pretty cool. I like him. Overall, I'd say the voice cast in this is really good, you know, right? Like I said, Sarah Chalk does a great job voicing McGee. You got Dave Foley as Wayne, who I think does a good job as well. Some guy named Derek Richardson plays Lanny. I never heard of this guy before, but he plays Lanny in this. So in this series, so that's pretty neat. And I'll also praise the voice cast of some of the later things I'll talk about later. But overall, this special, you know, it's pretty cute. I quite like it. I think there's some good animation here. I like the concept of Prep and Landing itself, and it's got some good moments with Wayne rediscovering his love for the job and Christmas. And you know, I think the dynamic between Lanny and Wayne is pretty good. You know, right? It's not my favorite of the goofy guy and the more down to earth guy. You know, right? Type of duo that I've seen before and other stuff. It's not my favorite of that concept, but you know, it works pretty well. It works pretty well. So yeah, Prep and Landing, you know, solid. Next up is Prep and Landing Operation Secret Santa. Not gonna lie, that's a pretty good title actually. Operation Secret Santa. I get it. I get what you're doing there. My favorite title of all of these things. Not gonna lie. This was a short, about 9 minutes long or something like that, released on ABC back in let me check, in 2010, and it's considered a stocking stuffer. That's what they call it in the title. Prep and Landing stocking stuffer, Operation Secret Santa. So I'm assuming if they had continued this idea, they would have done more of these just smaller stories in between the specials or something. I kind of wish they did continue that, not gonna lie, because this one I think is really fun. I quite enjoy it. In this one, we see Mrs. Claus enlist the help of Wayne and Lanny from Prep and Landing to sneak into Santa's office while he's asleep to kill him. I'm kidding. To grab something from his workshop, from his little office area. I mean, in order so that she can make a gift for him for for Christmas. And they have to do that while not waking him up, because if they do, you know, they'll probably get in trouble, because this mission is kind of off the books. You know, it's secret. You know, it's Secret Santa, Operation Secret Santa, and it's a fun short, honestly. I don't want to say I like it more than the other specials Prep and Landing or Naughty vs. Nice, which I'll talk about later, because like I said, this is a stocking stuffer. It's a short. I don't really feel it's I should be comparing one or the other, because a 20-minute special is much different than a 9-minute short. But you know, I really like this one, honestly. It probably has my favorite interactions with Wayne and Lanny here, you know, right? With their dynamic of the more goofier kind of scared guy and the more serious down to earth guy, you know. I think it's I kind of like it better here than I did in Prep and Landing, the first special. And there's some good moments. Something I forgot to mention is that Michael Giacchino does the score for these things, for these specials, this series. And he's absolutely really good at making music. He's my favorite composer for film and television ever. And so the scores that he does for these things are really good. I quite like him, honestly. Another really cool thing that I like about this short is the voice for Mrs. Claus, that being Betty White. That's right, R.I.P. Betty White, you were great. And here, she's really great as well. I think having Betty White voice Mrs. Claus is kind of peak casting, not gonna lie, peak Mrs. Claus casting. And you know, she does really good. She's not in it a lot, but you know, she's cute. I like it. And overall, yeah, there's not much else to say. There's some good moments of animation, you know, right? It's just a nice little sort of heist thing where they sneak into Santa's office, steal a thing from one of the very first toys that he made, and Mrs. Claus repairs it so she can give him a gift for Christmas, which is really sweet, you know, right? You know, she loves her man like that, you know. So overall, you know, it's good. You know, I don't know what else to say other than it's good. I hope I don't repeat myself too much by saying that a lot. The most recent special that has been released is Prep and Landing Naughty vs. Nice, released on ABC again, and back in 2010. This one follows Lanny and Wayne as they have to go on another mission. This time, they gotta do something different. Apparently, someone has been trying to hack into the Naughty and Nice list. And so they had to figure out who it is and stop them. But they're not on their own. This time they gotta get some help from Wayne's brother. No, not the Wayne's brothers. No, Wayne's brother, Noel, voiced by Rob Riggle, and he is a coal elf. That's right, there's another faction going on in the world of the North Pole in these specials. There's the coal elves. While Prep and Landing go ahead to all the nice kids' houses and prepare it for, Santa's big visit, the coal elves, they just go in and deliver coal. Right? They're bigger than within the elves of, Prep and Landing. They're covered in, the black stuff from, the coal that they mine, and they give it to kids who are naughty. They gotta go, alright, yeah, this kid was terrible, he sucks, so some coal. And Noel's brother is one of those coal elves. And Noel is a lot different than Wayne. Noel is bigger, he's louder, and he's a lot more excitable. He's having a good time most of the time, while Wayne is kind of grumpy that, his brother Noel is coming with him. And also Noel is his younger brother, which is funny because, he's bigger and Wayne is smaller, right? It's like a Full Metal Alchemist type of thing. But it's actually nothing like Full Metal Alchemist. I don't know why I made that comparison. Another fun thing about Noel is that he always says, "Jingle Burm!" Which I think is funny. I don't know. Rob Riggle is he has a funny voice, and it's funny when he just yells things like "Jingle Burr." Just realized that a lot of the actors that they get for these specials are people who have a background in comedy. You got Sarah Chalk, you got why am I forgetting this? You got Rob Riggle, like I said before. You got Dave Foley, Chris Parnell is in the second one, Naughty vs. Nice. I don't know. That's just a fun thing to mention, I guess. Throughout this mission, Wayne is trying to be Elf of the Year, but his brother kind of keeps embarrassing him by mentioning things from their past, and he just is kind of jealous of him. It's that dynamic where the older brother is jealous of the younger brother, who seems to be getting a lot more attention and is kind of seen as cooler by everyone else. But at the end, we realize that the younger brother actually looks up to the older brother, and it's a plot that we've seen before. I think Abbott Elementary did it recently in their one of their Christmas episodes recently, but it's done well here, I'd say, right? Especially, I think it helps that I actually do like Wayne and Noel as characters. I kind of like their dynamic a little bit more than Lanny and Wayne's, not gonna lie. Speaking of Lanny, he actually doesn't have that much of an importance in this special. He's in it, he's still with the crew, but it just feels like he was sidelined quite a bit, which just kind of sucks because he and Wayne were the duo in Prep and Landing and Operation Secret Santa. So yeah, back to the story though. They find out that the person who is trying to hack into the naughty and nice list is a girl named Grace. She just wants to get on the nice list because her younger baby brother tore apart her favorite doll or something like that, and so she just wants to make sure she's on the nice list to go ahead and get that doll, a new doll. But while doing so, she accidentally puts everyone on the naughty list, and so Noel and Wayne, after having a little argument, and and Wayne realizing that his younger brother actually looks up to him, and they're brothers, so they shouldn't fight. They go ahead and try to save Christmas, and guess what? They do. And at the end, they're both Elf of the Year. Hooray! This special was honestly a lot of fun. I do think I'm still debating on which one I like more, the first one or this one. Some days I might say this one, other days I might say Prep and Landing. Right now, I'm thinking maybe this one. I don't know. I think it's a good sequel where it follows up on the stuff that was established before. It kind of adds more to the lore of Prep and Landing, where we saw coal elves in the first one, but here we learn more about how that works, and the stakes are brought up a bit higher. This time they gotta save Christmas for everyone, not just one kid, and stuff like that. And McGee is still in it, Thrasher's in it. They got great moments. They're my favorite characters. I will say though, it does kind of suck that Lanny is not really all that much in it, but still, I do still quite like this special. I might change my mind and I might say the first one's better, but for right now, I'd say I really do like this one. I think this is this was a good last special to go off on. Okay, so originally when I was, planning to do this video, I thought I was gonna just talk about Prep and Landing, Operation Secret Santa, and Naughty vs. Nice, and then just do a little segment where I talk about the future of the series, will we see any more Prep and Landing stuff like that. But while I was looking on the Wikipedia page, because that's where I get all my research, because I'm freaking lazy, I saw that there was one piece of Prep and Landing media that I had never heard of before, and I was just like, what the hell is this? I gotta pull up my notes for this so I can get it exactly right. On November 16th, 2011, in Avengers number 19 and Marvel Adventures Superheroes number 20 and Marvel Adventures Spider-Man number 20, these were comic books, by the way, there was an 8-page comic based on Prep and Landing called Prep and Landing Mansion Impossible, which is a crossover between Prep and Landing and the Marvel Universe. And when I heard about that, I was like, okay, how can I not look into that? I kind of have to talk about this. And I tried to find like the comic online. I was able to, but only on the wiki, not the Wikipedia, the wiki, which is a different thing. I have to talk about it. So, in this comic, Prep and Landing Mansion Impossible. You get it? It's like Mission Impossible, but Mansion instead. It's, you know, you get it. We follow Lanny and Wayne as McGee gives them a mission to go prepare a house, you know, for Santa's big visit. But the house they go to is the Avengers Mansion, and so they have to deal with stuff like the Hulk waking up, some of the robots that are there, that kind of stuff. And, you know, it's like, it's not that long. It's only 8 pages, so there isn't really a lot to go off of. But just the fact that it exists at all is kind of wild to me. Like, this takes place in this, like, apparently Prep and Landing takes place in the same universe as the Marvel universe, which is kind of wild. Did the events like Avengers Endgame happen in this world, or Avengers Infinity War happen in this world? Did Lanny get blipped? I don't know. Also, I'm aware that's like the MCU, not the comics, but like still, let me make a joke. Just let me make a joke. Also, at the end, there's like a little guy that says that the next house they have to go to is a school for gifted youngsters, which we all know can only mean one thing: they're runaways. I like the art, by the way. I didn't mention that, but the art is pretty good. It didn't say who did the art or even who wrote the comic, but I would like to find out one day. But yeah, this is like this is kind of interesting that it exists. I really don't have much to say because it is so short, but I just say, like, yeah, there was a Prep and Landing Marvel crossover comic. I just kind of wish they went more wilder. Like, there's only a few moments in there with Avengers characters. I'm like, go wilder. You know, let's get a whole series of these comics. So they might have a new special out next year. Make another one of these comics to promote that, because there's a promotion for Naughty vs. Nice at the end of this comic. So, yeah, maybe let's make one where they, like, see the Fantastic Four. I would love that. I would love to see them see the Fantastic Four. Prep and Landing Mansion Impossible, it exists, and I kind of like it, I guess, you know? It's only 8 pages, like I said, but, like, you know, a pretty solid 8 pages, if I do say so myself. So I've talked about almost everything Prep and Landing, minus a few things. There's another short called Tiny's Big Adventure, which is only like a minute long, so I couldn't really figure out what to say. It's just like a little thing where like Tiny tries to make coffee for McGee, but like, you know, everyone keeps like, you know, trying gets in his way at the break room or something. I don't know, not much to go over. There's a few in-universe commercials for things like oh, join Prep and Landing, or like the toy that Noel and Wayne are into as kids in Naughty vs. Nice, or like stuff like the place that's also in Naughty vs. Nice, Christmas Carols, just like a bar or something like that. You can find those on YouTube. And there's also 2 featurettes for like songs that are in Naughty vs. Nice, because they got 2 original songs by some artists, but they're only in there for like a very short amount of time. So it's like they go like, oh man, it was so much fun making this song, and I'm like, that's great. It's only in those specials for like few seconds, you know, in the second special, I mean. And that's like some stuff that I thought about talking, but I just couldn't think of a lot to say, so, you know, but I tactically did talk about them just now. After Prep and Landing Naughty vs. Nice, the directors of these specials would go on to direct Olaf's Frozen Adventure, you know, a Christmas special for Frozen. And in it, there is actually a reference to Prep and Landing, or at least that's what the Wikipedia says. There's like a gag involving fruitcake, which is like a running gag from Prep and Landing. I can't remember what that gag was. I haven't seen Olaf's Frozen Adventure since, like, I don't know, maybe last year. I barely remember it. I probably didn't even watch it last year. I probably did, maybe. I probably have it logged on Letterboxd or something. Point is, I don't remember when I watched it. And also, the characters of Prep and Landing, Lanny and Wayne, actually appeared in the short Once Upon a Studio, the short from last year that was you know, a little celebration for the 100th anniversary of Disney. And I remember being really excited when they appeared, mainly because it just kind of showed how much love was put into that short, that I was just like, oh, they really are referencing like everything from you know, from Walt Disney Animation Studios, not just the movies, like just stuff from that specific part of Disney. And they were just there, and I was just like, it was brief, but you know, I liked it. I enjoyed it. And according to the Wikipedia, I gotta pull this up, my notes, there is another Prep and Landing special set to come next year called The Snowball Protocol. And there's a quote from Disney branded television. In this new installment of the Emmy-winning holiday specials, the high-tech team of elves from the elite unit known as Prep and Landing is back. When their holiday missions go awry, Wayne thinks he is in big trouble with Santa, which opens a vault of merry mishaps from the past. It's going to be hard to dig. I'm sorry, I'm bad at reading. To dig their way out of the snowbank this time. And Prep and Landing, the Snowball Protocol. The special will debut next year. Will this actually happen? we'll just have to wait and see. So yeah, Prep and Landing is cute. I have a fun time with the series. I do watch it every year because, well, they're relatively short, and you know, they're like, my sisters will be like, hey, let's watch that. And I'm like, yeah, sure. But I never mind because I do enjoy aspects of it. In fact, doing this video kind of made me realize I like them a little bit more than I initially thought. I realized I do like the concept of Prep and Landing. I like the characters well enough. There's good animation, some good music, some good voice acting, and I kind of hope we see the Snowball Protocol. I hope we get another special. If they want to bring these characters back and, you know, maybe make some more stocking stuffers or another special, I mean, yeah, I'd be down for it. Yeah, they do feel a little bit like Diet Arthur Christmas, not gonna lie. I just love Arthur Christmas a lot, so, you know, that's my main comparison for, like, spy elves. But, like, you know, sometimes Diet is good. Sometimes you want, you know, a Diet Coke or a Diet Dr. Pepper. I don't. I think they taste kind of bad. But this is the kind of diet I like. I guess I would say the series is pretty tinsel. So, yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. See you next year.